What do you think of when you hear Operations Research Analyst? Well, it's one of those cases that USCIS likes to deny because it has analyst in the end. Well, at least that's our opinion. So Operations Research Analyst was the beneficiary's title. Salary is quite low in the industry, probably the lowest in the industry. So it's a young graduate that's doing this position with a low salary. We did two things that's very unique to this case. The case got approved immediately, and we want to share that with you. Let's get to it. So the legal problem in this case is that this large company, huge tech company, wanted to hire this young graduate for a position of Operation Research Analyst. There wasn't any room to budge out of that position, right? It wasn't the ideal position that we would have selected, but that was a position that was chosen, so we had to work with it. The salary, we wished it was a lot higher. The beneficiary obviously wished it was a lot higher, but that was what the company had set. Most of the time, we're able to work with the beneficiary and the company and the HR department to come up with a best position and the best salary to get the case approved. But in this case, these were set. So on top of the four things that we typically do for all cases, because it's a little bit difficult, we wanted to spend a little bit more time in making it just that much better. The four things we typically do, arguing that it's common to the industry, well, a tech company using an Operation Research Analyst with a minimum bachelor's degree, yes, kind of, sort of. We argue that. We listed out all the companies that used it, right? Then we argue that this company have hired Operation Research Specialists in the past. Well, yes, they kind of did, so we included that. We argue that this position is highly complex and needs a bachelor's degree. Yes, we argue that. And we argue that this position just requires a bachelor's degree. And that is the part that we actually spend a little bit more time. Typically, USCIS, when they're looking at a particular position, they consult the ONET. But the problem with the ONET, it's not really up to date to today's standard. And for these tech companies, a lot of times what they write there is not good enough. A lot of times they actually don't have specific roles for most companies today. So we actually didn't heavily rely on the ONET. We only used it a little bit, like a half a paragraph. The majority of the argument, we actually focused on this other agency, the Institute of Operation Research and Management Sciences, the INFORMS. So we were able to use all of their research to argue, and because they argue that Operation Research Analyst is a very highly complex position. And of course they will say that because that's what they research, right? But yet they are very prestigious. So we were able to heavily rely on another institution and another prestigious organization's research to argue that our beneficiary's position at this company is highly specialized and complex. It is not something that we always do for every single case because USCIS doesn't necessarily rely on other third-party resources, but if they recognize expert opinions, they definitely should recognize these prestigious other institutions, right? On top of ONET. So we use ONET, but we use it as a supporting argument. The second thing that's unique to this case that we typically don't do for all cases is we put the applicant's beneficiary's background front and center. We made this into a job application. H-1B applications, you don't have an interview. An officer is just sitting at the desk and reviewing. So think about that. What is another position where somebody is sitting there reviewing tons and tons and tons of applications all about a person's credentials? That's right, the hiring department. So we applied the typical job application strategy for somebody to get a job, and we applied it to the H-1B. We wanted to make the officer, the USCIS officer reviewing this H-1B application to see that, oh my goodness, I would want to hire this person. This person has a master's degree, has an Ivy League education, has all these other crazy engineering certificates to show that this person will excel in this particular position. So putting this person front and center so the officer can clearly see and feel, wow, these foreigners with such high degrees and with such great grades is able to work in our company and our tech sector to make the products that make our country great, right? Yes, I want to hire this person. That is a very unique strategy that we do. It's not part of the H-1B requirement. Nobody will ever be sued because they didn't utilize the strategy and their case got denied. But we thought that this particular case, it was worth trying. And so we did it and the case got approved. Even though it was a low salary and it's the job position and a title and a duty that is not typically loved. Based on these two methods, we got the case approved. So just want to share that with you. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. Take care. Bye-bye.